Shwmae Ffrindiau and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin Anwin for anyone who's new here, and let's get back into building on Mars on my space Planet Diorama. Last time we did a habitat for the dromedary camels, and this time I was thinking about how the staff that work on this planet got there. Of course they'd need a rocket to get to Mars. So I am going to be building a rocket that houses all of the staff buildings. And it was actually trickier than I thought it would be. The hardest bit, the paths. So I thought we'd go into depth into the paths a little bit more because I've had a couple of requests over on the other, the clock app about paths. So I thought I'd go in a little bit more detail with the paths. You can access the paths by clicking on the paths symbol on the right side of the bar. And there are 3 different types of paths. You've got the regular zoo paths, which can be used for anything really. And then you have queues, which can be used for the transport rides. And then staff paths. Staff paths can only be accessed by staff. So if you want a staff-only area, use the staff paths. They're a lot less customizable than, say, the first tab of paths. There's loads of different paths from base game, but if you see me using a different style of path than you've seen before, maybe have a look through yours, or maybe I've used a path that came with a DLC. With paths, there's a lot of control with your mouse, so to just place a path down, when you select the path that you like, just click on the ground and it will place the path down. You can also select to align to grid, which will create a square path. The easiest way to align to a grid is to first place a grid prop down, for example a wall. Once you align the path to the wall piece, it will align to world axis too, to make it a little bit easier. But if you've got a slightly angled building, the path will then be angled too. But if you want to make like a nice square patio, or have the whole zoo gridded to make nice square paths, click align to grid, and then you'll have a little tick option in the path UI to make the edges square. To create slopes and stairs, click and hold the left mouse button like how you would place a path, but push your mouse forward to create a staircase up, and if you want a staircase down, pull the mouse backwards. But you need to click and hold to allow it to raise, and it depends on how much you push it forward. You push it forward a little bit and it'll go into a slope, and then you push it forward more and it'll go into a set of stairs. Default setting is a 4-meter size, but you can make paths wider as well. That can help with stuff like congestion in a zoo. If you're finding that there's a lot of guests stuck in one area, make the path wider. There's a setting which allows you to widen the path. You can have wide paths on the ground, wide stairs, anything you like. To have elevated paths without using stairs, so if you want everything to be above ground, to have all of the viewing areas above ground, all the paths above ground for the guests, select the path that you want, and without clicking to get it to connect to the ground, use shift and then push the mouse forwards to lift the path up, and then you can click and it can be at any height you want. Or you can also align to grid, and then the path will snap up in increments of that grid size. So if it's a 4-meter size wall, it will start at the ground, and then if you click shift and push forward, it will snap up 4 meters if you want an exact height. I did that a lot in my wetland zoo because there was a lot of water. It made sense for me to have some above viewing areas, so if you've got like a very watery zoo, and that might be handy for the new pack that comes out on Tuesday. The Oceania Pack. It's about time we got some more animals from that area of the world. We haven't had a lot since like the Oceania Pack, and Oceania Pack came out years ago now, right? We've had like some Australasian animals in other DLCs, but it's really exciting to have some new animals. What animal are you most looking forward to seeing from the Oceania Pack? The flying foxes look really interesting. I'm hoping we can put them with the Egyptian fruit bats, but maybe they'll fight, I don't know. Or the kiwi, they're adorable. It's really exciting. And we're also getting a new Korea scenario, but Tiff's not going to be there. We're getting the Goodwins back, Emma and Bernie. Emma's like my favourite character. Starting on the rocket now. I started just using the metal pieces because I wanted this rocket to kind of be shiny. I used it for a 50s diner in my American zoo, my season zoo, and I really liked how it reflected light, and I'm using the circle trick to create a circular shell around the stays. This is why I started with the stays, because I didn't want any of the stays to be sticking out of the rocket. I want this to be completely enclosed. And I'm also using renewable energy, because why are we going to pollute a brand new planet? It has to be renewable. So I was going for the wind turbine because I thought it fit like better with the shape of the rocket than the solar panel. With the renewable energies, I'm pretty sure they stop working if you block them. Like if you cover the solar panel, it's not going to work, is it? Because it's no longer collecting the sun energy. And I kept checking and checking my wind turbine as I built the layers up of this rocket, and it never once stops working. So I don't know what's going on there, because I do cover it and there's no way wind is getting to it. But maybe because it's not completely sealed, it's fine. I'm not sure. Unfortunately, with like the different angles that I've created doing the rocket shape, it sometimes doesn't quite rotate perfectly and will overlap. So I need to do it one layer at a time. Otherwise, like the bits that are like either more spaced out or closer together will like overlap or leave gaps. So I just needed to do one layer at a time to slowly create the shape. To make sure you fully power your zoo, or you fully power anything that you've currently built, you need to go into the heat maps. There will be a power heat map with a little lightning bolt, and your power source, whether it's transformer, solar panels or wind turbines, will give off a blue circle. And if something isn't powering something in your zoo, it will be red. So if you see anything red on your heat map, you're not powering it. To make sure that it's powered, make sure that blue circle is covering your objects. Staff buildings need to be powered, hence why I've got the wind turbine on top of my staff buildings. Your habitat gates need to be powered, so you don't necessarily need to have that blue circle over the entire habitat unless you've got like lights or something in it. Just the gate. Things like shops as well also need to be powered, so anything that shows red, it's not fully powered. You need to move your power buildings around until those blue circles cover the things that you need them to cover. Another thing that also gives power is your entrance building, or like your entrance gate, the bit that the guests walk through to pay for the tickets, not the spawner. So you don't need to power your zoo straight away. So I'm customizing my rocket a little bit, but all of this is going to be FlexiColor anyway. So if you want to download the rocket for the staff members for your zoo, very niche, but you know, if you're building on this diorama, you can borrow my builds too to fill out your diorama. I really hope you are actually trying the Planet Diorama challenge. The challenge is still going to be open up to Halloween, because that's when I'm going to be having a look at your builds, and I'm hoping these builds kind of give you a little bit of an idea of how easy it is to build on these dioramas. You don't necessarily have to stick to the planet itself. The rocket's going to be set behind the planet, like that's where it's landed, and they're building on the planet then. But the new viewing domes that will be coming in the update, the free update alongside the Oceania Pack, they look so cool. And the first thing I thought of was UFO. I've got space on my mind. But yes, like the viewing dome, and then you could build around it and create like a little UFO. So there's the little guests are sat in the UFO looking at the animals. Oh, I'm not quite sure like how easy it's going to be to build around it, but I have read the update notes thing on Steam, and it says that you don't need to connect these viewing domes to paths. Viewing domes give your zoo visitors a whole new viewing experience. Guests can enter these viewing domes in the habitat via an underground network without any need for a path or a tunnel, so they can enjoy an extra close-up view of your wonderful animals through the safety of the glass. So these might not actually even need to be necessarily like a walkthrough habitat animal, because the image shown, well, two of the images shown actually for like the sneak peeks have been walkthrough animals. So can these viewing domes be in like lion habitats too? Because it's been the red panda and the ring-tailed lemur, which are both walkthrough habitat animals. To activate this feature, place a viewing dome entrance on the habitat barrier, then place your viewing dome anywhere inside the habitat. They will automatically be connected to your dome gate, and you can even place multiple domes in one habitat. Why not place them underwater to create an even more breathtaking view for the new like penguins? So that's interesting. That's like the first time we've actually been allowed to put something under the water without almost breaking the game for it. I think roughly at this point I was staring at the rocket thinking, oh, I made a giant silver crayon. To try and give off less crayon vibes, I wanted to change the colour a little bit more. So this is not like the easiest way to do it because I've already built the whole thing, but I wanted to recolour things, and the silver metal clad panels are not flexi colour, they only come in silver, and the art shapes that I use to create the strip don't come in exactly the same size as the metal panels, and because I'd already built it, I then needed to go in with a different panel. So I went for plaster because I wanted it, you know, at the end to be a black background like in space. I didn't want to use too much black in the rocket and have the rocket blend into the sky, so I went for white instead. Now, does that look like a pencil now instead of a crayon? I wasn't really sure what kind of size or shape I wanted out of the wing. I didn't want it to be like exactly the same as the rockets that I was looking at of images from like NASA and things like that. But I wanted to incorporate the colours that I used on the rocket on the wings as well. So I got like a little strip of white and purple at the bottom of the wing. Wasn't quite happy with the shape that I created by here, so I just tweaked it a little bit. The triangles weren't really like, it was too pointy. I didn't really like the shape of that. We're just creating like a frame for the shape of the wing and then filling it in with the other art shapes. Yeah, the wings make it look like a rocket now, right? Am I slightly in denial? Maybe, but I think it looks like a rocket now. I also wanted to light the inside because I figured like with this fun staff building shell, you want like some interest on the inside too. So I wanted to light it up, of course, so the staff would be able to walk around the inside and see. They can see anyway, they've been walking up and down these paths quite a lot. But then I noticed that I used the boring staff buildings that were plaster, and the plaster outside does not look good with all of the fun rocket shell. So to keep it a little bit different but keep with the same theme, I'm using the other metal, and to make it easier and quicker for myself, I used the grid props instead of the paneling, so I could just snap to grid and have everything snap into place quickly and easily. Because this doesn't necessarily have to be like the most interesting looking, I just didn't want to leave it plain. To make it easier to figure out which building is which, I've just put the signs up on the fronts of the buildings. And to find the sign that matches the staff building type, just search the word in signs on the construction tab. So like if it's a keeper hut, write keep and it'll pop up. But that is the staff building shell done for the rocket. This is how my staff members got from Earth to Mars. But yeah, that was a little bit of fun. I hope my path tutorial was helpful to some of you as well. It will be cut down into shorts and other short form videos to help others as well. It's just because I had a little bit of a request for it, and I thought how much path work I was doing with this build, it would help and be a little bit more interesting than me just being like an I put a path around this building. What else should we put on this planet? I was thinking maybe a restaurant and doing it kind of like the Space Needle, is that what it's called? But I'm gonna have to figure out a way of getting guests onto the planet too. Maybe I should have done that with the staff buildings. But I'm gonna leave it off there. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, and if you haven't already and you'd like to, it would mean a lot to me if you could subscribe and hit the bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video. I usually upload long form videos on Wednesdays and short form tutorials on Sundays, but that will be all mixed up because of the new pack release. But definitely look forward to the showcase on Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!